Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar for Thursday, March 12th. This is our boot camp. We're going to kick butt. Glad you're here. We get started in, well, I guess we're going to get started now. Just going to do one other thing here. A little behind schedule, but anyway, let me see if the rest has gotten into play. All right. So today we're going to do some updates, of course, as usual, and give you a little background as to what's happened this week. Been a fabulous week, and we've got a lot of great things happening. We've got a candidate in Monaco, an attorney in Monaco, that has consented to take on a promissory note. So that's exciting. We're looking forward to working with him. I've got two companies I'm negotiating with, one fairly successfully, the other I thought was going to be successful, but seems like it's backing off, but it's their loss. They're both doing the same thing, so the one that came later is actually better, so you know, it all seems to happen for a reason. But we are developing a platform for BrightStar Work Center in order to allow Zcash to be freely moved back and forth for bonuses in my fuel club, and we'll be setting up something similar to LHP retail and wholesale, and to that event we want to be able to discuss with you the importance of not doing exchanges, because it's coming under fire. Various state governments now want to regulate and license and interview people who are doing exchanges. So as long as we keep everything in the commercial side, like LHP, wholesale, and retail, we're not going to have any problems. And so it's very imperative that we follow a new protocol that's on the webinar today, and we'll get to that after we've done some of the updates and announcements. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully it works. And let's just go and get that done. All right, so if you go to the Financial Hope website, legacyassurance.net, click on the 2015 news, so many members are becoming active. I'm hearing from members I haven't heard from in 2 years, and that's pretty exciting. Obviously, the news is getting out there. I'm certainly not doing anything other than what I'm doing. So I've had at least 7 members this week that I haven't heard from in a couple of years contact me and say, what's up and how do I get involved? And I'm happy to get them to review the last 2 months and a half worth of webinars, and that'll get them back up to speed. So that's what you need to do. It's also very exciting to see some brand new people joining us and working with us and doing a fabulous job. Young fella, Nicholas, is a star pupil, to say the least. He is doing a phenomenal job in introducing wonderful contacts to us. And so I commend him, and I wanted to make that announcement here because he deserves the accolades given. He's introduced me to this attorney in Monaco. He's introduced me to this major organization that does debit cards, has a platform that can actually exchange and move currencies from between Visa and MasterCards. Amazing technology. And so I have to do a proposal over the weekend, get it to the leadership of that organization, and they'll give me a quote on putting together the platform for BrightStar Work Center, my fuel club, to be able to do what we need to do digitally with not only debit cards that we can have issued for each member, but also for a smartphone application that will allow you to swap your Zcash and probably will include BVK as well. So pretty exciting. One of the things that was sent to me is by, again, another member that has been quiet for a long time. He lives in Hawaii, and I've known Tom now for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And so Tom is 82, and he says he doesn't really catch on too well, but I'm telling you, he's doing a great job. He sent me this video. Well, it's not a video, it's an overview. Anyway, I believe it'll help you better understand what's gone wrong on this planet, and it'll assist you in realizing how important you are to this Jubilee. I'm posting this very controversial document. I mean, it just blows me away when I see it. I've been studying this information since 2001. And actually, up until 2001, I spent a lot of time doing this research, but it was so scattered and all over the place. Well, this individual, this website, Icklenik, has put together the hidden history of the incredibly evil Khazarian mafia. And I got to tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. If you get upset easily, like I get angry easily, I would suggest that you read it in bits and bytes. But it will very clearly tell you what has gone wrong on this planet. And it'll tell you why. And again, I've studied all this information many years ago, so I know what was written here is very accurate. And it's the truth. The truth will set you free. Well, we got to do some work to get rid of these evil Khazarians to set ourselves free. And we're doing it. We're setting up this alternative economy, commerce through capitalism, and we can do it. So I urge you, I implore you to become a part of your own solution and then teach others to do the same. All right. In terms of other neat updates, we've got a car dealership that Mr. B is working on that is going to buy a multitude of cars. And I'm doing the same with a car dealership in Florida. I finally found the person I need to speak to. We just haven't been able to connect yet. We've got two major financial institutions that one of our newest members has brought to the table. And I'm quite excited that Mr. B will be contacting them, if not today, tomorrow, and hopefully getting contracts in place for those. We're going to talk about how our secret weapon is now in place. Lots of good things happening in terms of promissory notes being issued and presented. A lot is in limbo because obviously they've presented the notes and the banks really don't know what to do other than to query and say, oh, we'll get back to you. And they never get back to them. So that's very positive. So there's lots of wonderful things happening. And if you get involved, you'll have your own story to tell soon. And that's what we want you to do. All right, so what I want to do now is to start to work with some of the new protocols that have been posted. The first one is very important, and it kind of sets the stage for everything we do from this point forward. It's the Internet Catalog Club Advisory. It was posted yesterday. This is my first opportunity to see it. I knew it was coming, but I had such a busy day yesterday, I didn't finish my last call until 8 in the evening. And you talk about the 6 degrees of separation. It's amazing how we went around the world. Nicholas contacted somebody in South Africa. That somebody in South Africa contacted somebody in Canada. That person contacted me, and the next thing you know, I'm talking to somebody in Texas. And so it's just going around the world so very, very quickly. So wake up, take action. Get back to your contacts. Let them know things are in great shape. So let's talk about this advisory, because it's so very critical that you set the stage mentally so that we don't find ourselves in challenges with the alphabet agencies. In 1996, the Internet Catalog Club introduced Zcash for use by club members in exchanges with the club, with any such exchanges accruing added value, no cost, gold debit coupons. All right, that's what they brought out way back in 1996. In 1999, the club replaced gold debit coupons with commercial high increase protection savings points, or an acronym CHIPS. In 2006, the club became aware that the US SEC might seek to have Zcash and CHIPS classified as securities. Because Zcash, when acquired and when used, would cause accrual of chips at no additional cost to the member acquiring or using the Zcash, the club determined that using the argument that accrual of chips would constitute a profit, the U.S. Securities and Exchange might prevail in having a purchase of Zcash deemed as an investment, and thus the club ceased offering to issue Zcash in exchange for any sovereign currency. At that time, the club also limited the right to acquire any items through the club to one member of the club. That is, from the time forth, the club has only allowed Incredible Concepts Interests Bahamas Limited, aka ICIB, to transact business within the club. That is, all other members may only transact business with ICIB. This restriction, along with the methodology that a member might use to do business with ICIB and have ICIB transact business related to them through or with the club, was embodied in the terms and conditions published by the club. Thus, the issuing of Zcash and chips by the club has for many years now been limited to business transacted between ICIB and the club as per rules, regulations, and laws to which the club and the ICIB may be subject within their respective jurisdictions. Furthermore, at the same time in 2006, the club introduced the concept of tickets. Tickets are used in the same fashion as those historically used in fairs and amusement parks in many locations around the world. That is, a party attending the fair or visiting an amusement park must buy tickets and use these internal to the fair or amusement park to exchange for services or goods. And similarly, ICIB must acquire tickets to use to exchange for items within the framework of the club. What's happened here, and just a quick footnote, is that we need to be always in private contract. And by going to the fair and the amusement park and taking your US currency or your Australian dollars or your euros or rand or whatever you're using, and giving that to the ticket sales booth, you're going from a public facility now to a private facility, the amusement park itself. And that is its own internal currency. Just like a casino, you cannot use the currency that you brought to the casino. You have to go to the cashier's booth and you have to exchange for chips. All right? And chips are what you use within the club, the gambling casino, rather than USD. And that puts it under private jurisdiction. So it's very important to know that we have the right still to have private contract. That means you and I can contract with ICIB. We can contract with each other. And we always seek remedy within the club protocols because we are private club members. We don't ever go outside the club and use the system's legal system because it's not about right or wrong. It's about debits or credits. And if you'll review that overview that's on Financial Hope's website about the Khazarians, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's continue. So since 2006 until recently, a member wishing to have ICIB transact club business on behalf of the member would use sovereign currencies, financial instruments, and virtual currencies acceptable to ICIB to acquire chips from ICIB. ICIB would then transact club business and afterwards allow the members to use chips previously acquired to exchange the chips for results obtained by ICIB through club business. Seems convoluted. Has to be this way to protect ourselves and to keep ourselves within private contract. Now, with new definitions and controls evolving in jurisdictions around the world related to virtual currency, it became apparent that further restrictions on the use of Zcash and chips would have to be implemented, and also of tickets as used within the club to avoid regulatory conflicts that might arise. Therefore, a new restriction has been added to terms and conditions when a member undertakes business with ICIB, wherein ICIB may engage in business related to the club. Specifically, members are no longer allowed to acquire chips from ICIB. Rather, now members wishing to acquire chips must acquire physical products selected by ICIB and provide the products to ICIB in exchange for ICIB providing chips to the members. So now we have a commercial transaction. All right? It's not an exchange of a sovereign currency for chips, even through tickets through ICIB. ICIB may then proceed to do business within the club and acquire items selected by the members, providing these items to the members in exchange for chips. Similarly, if a member has Zcash or chips in an account with the club, to transfer these to other account members, they must undertake a purchase and a resell of a physical product. And that's why we've had this slowdown in me receiving your Zcash for those that wish to upgrade your membership for my fuel club. And I was asked to just sit on it until we got this worked out within the legal ramifications of what needs to be done. We're still not there yet, but we're almost there. So a list of physical products that may be used, as indicated above, may be reviewed in Employee Gold number D30. You can go take a look at it. In short, the Internet Catalog Club does not engage in currency exchanges, but does all business through the buying and selling of physical products. Additionally, when issuing tickets, Zcash or chips, the club does so only within its own jurisdiction for use only within internal to the club. So if a member undertakes to use tickets, Zcash, or chips business external to the club, that member is responsible to abide by and conform to the regulations and laws that might be related to thereto in the jurisdictions in which the member is operating. So this certainly pertains to my fuel club. Recognizing the difficulties this might impose on members, certain members of the club have formed new corporations to provide services to members that may wish to use Zcash and chips as the foundation for business outside the confines of the Internet Catalog Club. Hence, my working with this organization in California to build a platform to do just this. Now, although these service firms, other than having memberships in the club, operate independently from the club, they all seem to follow a similar pattern in their operations. That is, if members wish to do business outside of the club, they may purchase physical products that the member may acquire through ICIB and then resell these products to a firm that issues promissory notes, by that firm providing the notes as payment to the members. The promissory notes are collateralized by Zcash held on deposit in a club account owned by the issuer of the notes and may be immediately collected by transfer of Zcash to a new account that may be established at the request of a lawful beneficiary of the note. That is, the Zcash account held by the issuer of a note is to be treated as property, and the new account with Zcash would also be property, with the transfer of property being similar to the transferal of ownership of real estate as a means of paying or collecting a debt. However, such promissory notes offer an alternative mode of collection. That is, a lawful beneficiary may request that the issuer provide documentary funds collateralized by USD value deposited in financial institutions, which documentary funds would be used in a financial trading by licensed professionals to create profits with which the notes may be redeemed. This stratagem, totally external to the club and not controlled or regulated by the club, is designed to allow for Zcash to be used as it has been since its inception as property, by using the Zcash accounts instead of the Zcash itself as collateral for the notes. The stratagem also allows for the notes themselves to be used in business exchanges and to be collected only when a lawful beneficiary so determines, in whatever mode of currency the lawful beneficiary may choose. Because the notes provide the availability of documentary funds, which may be much greater import than the face value amounts of the notes, which documentary funds would be collateralized by sovereign currency value deposits within financial institutions, the notes are designed to provide a pathway for members to be able to use their club assets within the regulatory framework in all jurisdictions without having to submit to the club assets themselves to said regulations. Excuse me. However, it's up to the members and to the issuers of the promissory notes to assure that they are in compliance with jurisdictional rules, regulations, and laws, as the club is only responsible for adhering to such within its own sphere of business within the ICIB. So, we have the LLCs that we've set up, Regino, Lastrada, and soon to be Bo Ideals. with more in the works as we speak. And this keeps that portion of the process of moving Zcash as property outside the jurisdiction of the club. So it keeps the club safe at all times. And since each one of those new LLCs is set up properly by the attorney in the jurisdiction wherein the attorney has license, it's legal, lawful, ethical, and ultimately for all of us, very profitable. So it seems like an awful lot, and it is, but it has to be, because go back and watch or read that document that I put on there, and you'll see what we're up against. And so we need to be protecting ourselves from the onslaught of the Khazarians, the financial elite, whatever you want to call them. All right, so that's going to take more than one read to comprehend, but just know that we're doing everything in our power within My Fuel Club to bring it back to operation very soon and to bring it into the 21st century with the ability to use debit cards and with an e-wallet platform that will even allow you to use your smartphone with an app. And so that's where we're headed. So if it takes another couple of months or 3 months or 6 months or a whole year, I really don't care. We've got to do it right, because My Fuel Club is an awesome business. And those of you that were members picked up another $2 million from it for your efforts or for as a gift from me. And so use it wisely and just support us and promote it. It's still operational. People can still join and participate. All the rules are up there. Webinars are up there. You just have to get yourself involved. All right, so the next thing I want to go to is to talk about rebates for purchase. This is now on the Employee Gold website, and it's been updated, and it's in the lower left-hand corner here, so I've already clicked on it. And so rebates for purchases for employee expenses as provided by a DBA from Texas USPS stands for United States Purchasing and Employment Services. It's a Collins County, Texas DBA, and it's been around for a long time, but now it's being brought to fruition as USPS US. USPS has negotiated the exclusive right to obtain payments through Texas Holdings Inc., THI, provided by the foundation for rebates to be provided to entities that make purchases from anywhere and or that employs persons anywhere. All rebates will be paid using Regino LLC promissory notes or equivalent. So it could be La Strada, or it could be any of the new companies that are coming on. And you can read all about that in chips-corner.com HTML PN for promissory note. Entities that are members of the Internet Catalog Club wishing to apply for rebates that may be provided through USPS may do so through Brightstar Work Center. If an applicant does not have an Internet Catalog Club membership, a center may provide one at no cost to the applicant. Well, that doesn't happen within Brightstar. If you want a membership from me, you're going to commit to paying me that $1,000 at some point in the future for all the training that I will provide. But I will give it to you on credit. Most of you know that, but there's a lot of new people listening, so I just want to set the stage. So if you want a no-cost membership, go to another work center and see if they can help you. But if you want to work with our work center, you're going to pay us when you have the funds available, and that's $1,000. Once a center, Brightstar Work Center, has approved an application and an applicant has a club membership, the applicant may use the membership number to acquire TicketStash USD valued at $35,000 USD as indicated in the USPS contract fee payment below box. Now this is specific for two areas: rebates on last year's purchases and rebates on employee wages, benefits, and taxes. And so we're obviously not looking at a little sub shack around the corner, a little pizza shop that doesn't even earn $35,000 a year. This is for big companies, and we're going after big companies with this protocol. Okay, so do you have to do this? Absolutely not, but I certainly am, and you'll see why in just a moment. All right, the tickets will USD will automatically be allocated to be used by USPIS as indicated in the USPIS contract fee use below. When the tickets USD are acquired through the USPIS contract fee payment box, an invoice number will be provided to the entity making the acquisition. The invoice number should be provided to the center. Well, understand that nobody within Brightstar Work Center as a member does any of the ordering. You bring it to me and I do it all. That way we don't have any problems with orders having to be redone because they were done incorrectly. So Brightstar Work Center will send an email specifying the nature and amount of rebates and including the invoice number to rebates at Change 2100. So I do all that. You don't have anything to do with any of this other than if you want to promote it, it's very, very rewarding. Now, since there are no refunds, an entity applicant should verify that there are no legal or diplomatic restrictions related to the applicant receiving the rebates prior to the acquiring of tickets USD. Unless restricted by law or by rules, regulations, or advisories of the U.S. State Department, Regino LLC promissory notes or equivalent as selected by the entity applicant in your notice to us when using the USPIS contract fee payment box will be issued to beneficiaries that the entity applicant may determine. Notification of beneficiaries and amounts should be sent via email referencing the invoice number to rebates at Change 2100. So again, you don't do any of this. You gather the information for me. I send it off. Use of Regino LLC promissory notes or equivalent. So that means Lastrada, Bow Ideals, and any others that come along. A note obtained as a rebate payment may be used to create a cash asset entry on a balance sheet, providing an accounting proof of income over an annual period. Very powerful stuff. Get your certified public accountant to do that for you within your company. Can you do it personally? Quite frankly, I do not know. I can't balance my checkbook, nor do I want to. So just understand that if you need to have the information, then you seek it out from your chartered public accountant and provide that information to me, and I'll post it so everybody else can find out. I don't have time to be going and talking to accountants about, can I do this personally and how do I do it for my business? You do it. A note may be used to tender payments for debts, which as per U.S. State's Uniform Commercial Code would cause a debt to be discharged if the payment is not accepted. So you can see the actual code right there, and payment refused, debt discharged. A note may be used to make payments for purchases by negotiating with vendors. And that's what we're doing right now. And so again, review that particular document using a Regino promissory note to make purchases. A note may be exchanged for another mode of currency following protocol shown in how to exchange a Regino promissory note for other currencies. In fact, to negotiate with Regino LLC promissory notes or Lastradas, it is recommended that a party negotiate with a note be familiar with all information found in the digital currency section and in the promissory note section. All right? So it is your responsibility. We provide the tools, you provide the efforts. Think about this. You've got a gold mine. You've got claims. And so you come to me as a consultant and say, how long is it going to take to get this gold out of the ground? I do not know, sir. It's not my position to know, because it's your gold mine and it'll depend on the tools and it'll depend on how much you work. So never take the question, how long does this take? Always put it back onto them. How long are you going to take to do this? You have the ability to supply the tools for them to use to get their gold. So bringing it closer to home, whether it's BVK, Zcash, or chips, they have those. They have to create a promissory note. They have to submit it for use in one of those various protocols, or all of the protocols, depending upon how many promissory notes they've had issued. And they have to do it. It's up to them. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I've got members that are working diligently right now to get all their information together, but they've already paid their fee of $5,000 a month ago. But it's taken that long to get all the information in place and to feel comfortable about moving forward. And that's okay. It's your speed, or the company that you present this to. It's their speed. They could do it as fast or as slow, as cautious as they want. But it's their speed, not yours, and you can't even begin to tell them how long it's going to take. I can say this, that if you put in your $5,000 and you give us the people you want the promissory notes issued to so they can be the beneficiary, I would say the outside at this present time would be 1 business week. If things are caught up, it could take 24 hours. So anywhere from a business day to a week to get promissory notes issued at this present time. Okay, so it can be done pretty quick. So then once they've got the promissory note, how long it takes for them to utilize is up to them. Now here's where it gets really exciting for those people, and again, I'll come back to Nicholas. He is a real go-getter. And when I shared this with him, he was doing backflips. Now remember, when we provide the opportunity for people to utilize the LHP at wholesale, they can purchase a product for $2,000. They can immediately have it sold to another entity, and you'll receive $3,000 in Zcash, which is $6,000, plus you get the $6,000 in chips. So that's $12,000 that you'll have equivalency in digital currency. And that's a commercial transaction. You've bought a product, it's been repurchased, and you get the funds for it. And that's what we'll be doing within the My Fuel Club as well. Haven't got the products yet, but I'm working on them. So here's the uniqueness of that particular transaction. The transaction occurs and the sponsor receives $1,000 less $50 for processing. So $950. Now, if you are accumulating these sales to provide for your $5,000 LHP retail admin fee to get your promissory note, then you can leave them on deposit and there's no $50 deducted. And that way you can make your 5 sales and you'll be all set for your $5,000. It'll already be there. So that's another way you can do it. Now, when tickets USD valued at $35,000 are allocated to USPIS as per the USPIS contract fee payment, USPIS will arrange for, number 1, an allocation of tickets USD valued at $5,000 USD to pay the fee required for the retail LHP processing, as shown in number 31. So go look at it. Here's where it gets exciting. Instead of getting $1,000 on the retail, you're going to get $11,000 as the sponsor for processing the chips as per LHP retail fee promissory note compensation. You can go look at that on D31. As the work center, we get an increase from 1,000 to 6,000 for Brightstar Work Center for processing this whole order. Now, if Gary, that's me, goes out and finds, or if Eddie does, finds a business that decides that $35,000 capital outlay to get a 100% rebate of whatever they spent last year is worthy of consideration and they move forward, then Gary and Eddie would be splitting $17,000. Now, I can assure you if you did one of these a month at 11 grand, there's $100,000 income for you this year. So I would suggest you take this very serious because there's big companies out there champing at the bit to do this. You just haven't talked to them yet. Thus, an entity applying for rebates might first sponsor 4 others to do the same and receive a total of $44,000 USD in exchange for chips providing $35,000 to be used for tickets USD, require the rebates to be issued, as well as receive $9,000 USD in additional income. So you have this opportunity to get a rebate on what you did last year. Well, I'm a sole proprietor and I didn't really do anything. So what I would do is, obviously I would make the sales and get the 11 grand and I would go and use my $5,000 for LHP retail and then use my BVK or Zcash to get my promissory notes issued. But this opens up a whole new avenue for professional type salespeople, of which young Nicholas is. And there's others that I'm working with as well that are out there beating the bushes right now, and when they see this on today's webinar, they are going to be super elated. Now, just to draw a comparison, one of our members, Kenny, is working to purchase a large company. This large company has just arranged for a loan, and the loan is for $50 million. And so it's a one-year deal, and they're being charged $11 million up front for the $50 million. Now think about this. Here's a company that needs this loan to do what they need to do. They need the $50,000, but what they did is they took the $11 million out of the $50 million, so they're only going to get $39 million, and they're still short on what they need to do to complete their project. I'm telling you, folks, there are businesses out there every day going through that crap, that they don't get what they need. And so they have to go and borrow again and borrow again and borrow again. And $11 million on a $50 million loan is usury in the highest degree. So wouldn't it be better to come up with $35,000? And this coal company probably did a lot more than $50 million in business last year. And so for $35,000, instead of paying out $11 million, they could have got a complete rebate of all of what they purchased last year and all of what they did for salaries, wages, and benefits, either or. See the difference? How many businesses need to hear this? I've got a beautiful overview I'm going to do at close of the webinar soon to show you just how to do that. Very, very exciting. So brand new, worthy of your time and consideration if you're a sales type individual. Even if you're not, learn. This is hot stuff. Okay, so using a Rahino promissory note to make purchases. So what we've just seen, what we just understood in keeping ourselves in a buy-sell situation, never in an exchange situation, leads us now to how do we use a promissory note to make purchases. So you may use a Rahino promissory note to make purchases by negotiating with vendors. People are selling stuff all the time. So you might suggest to a vendor that you can arrange for a foundation to provide the vendor a 100% rebate for all payments made by the vendor in purchasing over the previous 12 months. You might suggest that the vendor also request a 100% rebate for all employee hiring, payroll, training, benefit expenses incurred by the vendor over the previous 12 months. The rebates would be paid with Rahino promissory notes or equivalent, Lastrada, both ideals. You might offer to pay the $35,000 USD USPIS contract fee payment required for Rahino promissory notes to be issued as rebates to the vendor, seeing D32. In exchange, you could request that after the vendor has learned to profitably use Rahino notes, the vendor accept Rahino promissory notes that you may provide as payment for items you wish to acquire from the vendor, plus give you a credit for the $35,000 that you paid as an administrative fee for the benefit of the vendor. Now, obviously, I don't know of any members personally that would be able to cough up the 35 grand at this moment. But I do know some members that have promissory notes that are taking them to collect that will eventually have the ability to do this. And you might negotiate to receive at least part of the $35,000 which you paid for the USPIS contract fee payment in products or services immediately in return for you arranging the rebates. You could request that the vendor use 25% of the value of the Rahino promissory note that you present as payment to provide items of that value to you, plus return 75% of the value to you in USD bank deposit funds as an overpayment return. Now, I've got this written out in a nice, easy to understand formula. Stay tuned. Thus, if you receive the Rahino promissory notes as part of the business arrangement with Texas Holdings Inc., wherein you are required to refund 50% of the Texas Holdings Inc., you could make the refund to Texas Holdings Inc., plus receive a value equal to that of the items you are acquiring as a refund to you. To further help the vendor, You could suggest that the vendor use proceeds from the rebates received to acquire certificates of deposit and use these as a basis to buy items that the vendor will provide to you as per your purchase orders at a cost to the vendor, so that the vendor would receive 100% profit from every payment you make for the items you order. Additionally, through the process, the vendor could receive an additional amount equal to 40% of the value of the items to be provided to you as a value-added income. That process can be reviewed in acquiring LHP Retail without automatic resale. You and or the vendor may wish to also use other funds to add to the certificates of deposit so as to accelerate the income so that you may receive the items you wish to order more quickly. Because a vendor could profitably use these procedures with no upfront funding from the vendor, there would seem to be no reason for a vendor to not try out. Don't you agree? But what about you paying for the USPIS contract fee for the process of Raheno promissory notes being issued for the rebates to the vendor? Well, you don't have to do that using out-of-pocket funds. One option is to require the vendor to make that payment and recover it through increasing the rebate amount. Another option is to contract to buy from the vendor and sell products the vendor offers to other parties with a surcharge, pay the vendor and pocket the difference, less the $35,000 USD to pay the administrative fee. Another option is to invite others to request rebates or to participate in business with Texas Holdings Inc. as per the list found in How to Exchange Raheno Promissory Notes for Other Currency. As a result of sponsoring, you can exchange chips for USD. So you can get that 35,000, and out of that 35,000, you can exchange the chips for 11,000 USD immediately. You don't have to wait. So if you did one of those a month, that's 11 grand a month. If you did one of those a week, that's 11 grand a week, 44,000 a month. And remember how much that coal company is paying for that loan? $11 million for a $50 million loan? Wouldn't they have been far better off to spend $35,000 to get all of the rebates for their wages, benefits, and purchases last year? So as shown in that protocol, if you have BVK, you may use it to obtain Zcash and chips. If you do not have BVK, you might negotiate with someone that does have BVK for them to provide you the chips. For example, you might offer to sell them future delivery of products or services that you offer, or that the vendor you are negotiating with may offer, in exchange for the Zcash and the chips they accrue by using their BVK. With delivery being delayed until you have further negotiated using Zcash and chips, or you've exchanged those for the funds in a mode you need to supply items to them. In short, instead of paying fees for vendors or even having them pay the fees, why not use the fee requirement as a motivation to seek out new business opportunities? Do you think that coal company has people that buy coal from them already? Wouldn't they like to know how they can get all their coal paid for plus make 20% on top of that? By developing new business strategies, you can definitely expand your income sources. In fact, the best way to hedge against downturns in a particular business area is to have multiple streams of income. A minimum of 5 such streams is standard good business advice. How many streams of income does your business have now? You might consider putting others to work as independent contractors, promoting the 9 areas of business that Texas Holdings Inc. pursues, and register with employeegold.info to obtain Zcash as per D13. Everybody that is coming to me to pay their $5,000 LHP retail administration fee, I'm recommending that you do just that. And the results are amazing. $30, $40, $50 million is becoming available by setting up a walking billboard advertising business that allows you to put to work independent contractors promoting the 9 areas of business on your behalf. You may also use the Zcash lists obtained to exchange for Rahino promissory notes through D30. You could also allocate the chips you would obtain by using the Zcash to an account that your contract employees could draw upon to obtain USD bank deposit funds through business promotion as per D31. In short, irrespective of the nature of your business, with some planning, you could provide an unlimited number of independent employment opportunities and increase your business income several fold. Brightstar Workcenter can help you with that planning, and I'm doing that on a daily basis with several new members and members that have become awakened to this fabulous opportunity. So, great opportunity. Now, what we're doing in the case of this attorney, we're going to use a draft pro forma invoice, and here's another sample of it. And so basically the pro forma invoice says name of company and legal jurisdiction, herein represented by the name of the signatory and title, hereby offers the following services to Texas Holdings, Inc. and Nevada State Corporation. Well, in our particular case, it'll be to Brightstar. So this is a template, all right? So we'll redo this. So the attorney is going to say, I'm going to sell you legal services. And that'll all be outlined here. And so it's going to note that we're going to give them a promissory note of $10 million, of which 50% of the proceeds will be rebated as overpayment. And so you can read through this. I'm not going to take the time now because we're running out of time. All right, so that's a tool that you can use to do just that. Now, I also want to show you this, and hopefully it comes up. If not, it will be posted on the website. And this is from a call. The notes I've taken, it took 2 weeks to get them together. I'm sorry it took so long, but I've just been so busy, and my head has to be clear when I'm trying to reformulate the notes. So anyway, here's a fabulous example. I'm going to be sending this information to Eddie, who is very good at creating Excel spreadsheets. If any of you are good at creating Excel spreadsheets, you can save Eddie the trouble. Let me know that you can create a spreadsheet that will show this promissory note protocol in its best light. Now here's the story, and this is perfect for you to use with everybody and anybody. Now we just heard all the information up to this point, and it was pretty Greek to me. Now I understand it because I've got this, but if you didn't have this, you're going to have to really go through that previous 3 documents and figure it out. But this spells it out because it's using an actual example. And when I first started with this example, it was only $1,350. So I've moved it up to $1,350,000. And the Excel spreadsheet, we hope to be able to say a business spent, and whatever they spent last year, we'll plug that one number in, and it'll change all of the numbers in the story. Don't know if that can be done, but at least there'll be a spreadsheet that will outline all the math and show you how this is done. So it's going to be really exciting. So watch how this unfolds. So the business spent $1,350,000 last year. Therefore, Texas Holdings will provide a rebate of $2,700,000, twice the value, remember? And when they collect on that rebate, they'll have to give THI half, equaling $1,350,000. So how do they collect on the $2.7 million promissory note? Now, up to this point, we've been seeking banks and everything else but this. And this is so powerful, we don't need banks. Quite frankly, I could care if we ever got a bank because this is so much superior to using a bank. But we've got a secret weapon for the banks too, coming up in a minute. One way is to bring businesses to Texas Holdings, Inc., who also have a need for rebates. So every business out there knows a business that they're dealing with that needs to get the rebates too, probably several. If they bring business to THI, THI will provide up to 90% of the profits and apply that to pay off the $2.7 million promissory note that was issued to them by buying it back from them. So that means that THI, as a result of profits, will hand them $2.7 million, and they will hand back to THI the promissory note. It's that simple. That's how they collect the promissory note. So that's all you need to say to somebody. Really? Well, what kind of business can they bring to THI to make this happen? Well, first of all, in order for THI to do that, THI commits to using 90% of the profits earned from the new business. So if 2.7 million equals 90% of the profits, what's 100% of the profits? I don't know. 3 million. Which means that in order for THI to do this, THI has to create a profit of $3 million, correct? Yeah. Well, $3 million on average represents 60% of the cost of some item that somebody wants to buy. Now, it could be more, could be less, but we're, for this example, always going to use 60%. That's a 40% markup. That's what I used in the music business, and it feels comfortable for me. That's what THI is using. It feels comfortable for them, so it'll be comfortable for you too. So if 60% of the 3 million, if 60% is 3 million, what's 100%? Answer, 3 million divided by 0.6 equals 5 million. So they want to buy a product that's worth $5 million. So we will add 3 million to that to make a retail price of $8 million. So if they want to buy a $5 million worth of products through THI, they'll have to pay $8 million for it. Are you not scared? Nobody's going to do that. Well, actually they are, because they'll not pay THI that amount out of pocket. They will pay that through depositing probably 8 million, 10 million, whatever they've got, a sum of money into a bank mutually agreed upon, and THI will create the trading that money through our licensed traders, and as a result of their trading profits will be created. From those profits, the traders will provide 80% to pay off the $8 million. Now we're talking apples and oranges here. Don't get the two percentages mixed up. The traders provide 80% of the profit to THI to pay for the product. The 90% comes from the profits. It's different in above. So according to the trade protocol, 80% of the profits created from the trade account of someone who wants to buy something from us are made available for what they want to buy, and 20% of the profit goes into his pocket as income. So he puts 10 million on deposit at some bank. It goes to trade. 80% of that goes to pay the 8 million. So if THI is going to charge 8 million for a product they procure for this buyer that normally costs 5 million, they're paying a $3 million premium. That means that the 8 million represents 80% of the profits required to be made from the trading effort, which means the total profit has to be 10 million, correct? For which the buyer is going to walk away with 2 million cash in his pocket. So yes, he's paying 8 million for a $5 million product, but we gave him 2 million in profit. Now watch this. THI then receives 80% of the profits and takes 3 million of that, of the 8 million, and puts that into THI's account. And then takes the 5 million and buys the product required by the buyer, whose order is now satisfied. So the buyer gets his product, he gets 2 million cash in his pocket, and he still has the CD that he can roll over and continue to trade. Is there any better way to do business? I don't think so, folks. Now, THI has the $3 million profit, and because they got $3 million profit, THI takes 90% of that, which is 2.7 million, and exchanges the 2.7 million for the $2.7 million promissory note. The business now has his promissory note paid off. He provides the 1.35 million to THI as per the contract, and he has the 1.35 million in his pocket that pays for his rebate. Isn't that awesome? So he brought $10 million worth of business to pay off his $1.3 million rebate. Now, that might be one company that you could bring to the table. It could be several companies that would be accumulated. Think about last year. Your business bought $1.35 million worth of products. Now this year, do you think you're going to do the same? Yes or no? Doesn't really matter. Fact is you now have 1.35 million cashola on the table. And so you can take that 1.35 million and you can go buy the product. Stop. Don't do that. Go buy a CD for that. All right? Put that CD to work. Now, that won't be enough perhaps, so you want to keep adding other people to the buyers group. So you go back to the guy who's still got the CD working and say, are you in for another year? Let's do it. Let's keep cooking. And so then you go find some more that want to do the same. As a result, everyone gets their products paid for. They all make 20% on the money that they've put into the CD, and they still have the CD. But let's keep it simple by talking in the past. If I can show you how to get 100% rebate for your last year's purchases, you'd want more information, wouldn't you? Great. Now, if you have debts owed to banking institutions, the business can use the promissory note to go pay the debt. So let's just say he has a bank loan, and we have a big company in Australia that's upside down, and they're trying to sell their business, and I'll just round figure it for $50 million, but they owe $75 million. Now, who is going to buy a business for $50 million that is in debt for $75 million? All right. So can we solve that problem? Absolutely, we could solve that problem. All right. We have everything in place to do that. So we can go ahead and create a promissory note for $75 million, and they can pay off the debt to the bank. Well, let's just say they don't have any debt. Well, then they use the protocol we've just reviewed. Did they have to involve a bank? Absolutely not. Now, do you see the importance of getting out there and talking to every business owner? And you're going to have to do lots of numbers because most of them won't get it. But this little worksheet will be yours to explain to them how it works. Memorize it, internalize it, and then if we can set it up so that it's a spreadsheet where we pop in the original figure at the top and everything else changes below, that'll be wonderful. I don't know if that can be done. If you know how to do it, please do it. Eddie will create an Excel spreadsheet that we can at least plug in the figures, and then we just tell the story as we go along. But this makes it so very clear how powerful we're in a position to help every business out there. And for $35,000 cost, you're going to get $11,000 for your consulting. And then you can include in that 1.35 million another fee. It's all about the art of negotiation. So I urge you to research how to negotiate. Go Google, do a Google search. I'm sure there's books on it. Okay, last but not least, let's go make your banker an offer he can't refuse. You'll find this in the Employee Gold lower left-hand corner. And so let's take a read through this and we're done. Make your banker an offer he can't refuse. By now, many bankers have at least heard about virtual currency, even if they have no idea of how to integrate it into their business structure. Many bankers also know that an instrument that a bank can work with is a promissory note. In fact, practically every banking operation is based on one form or another of a promissory note. Even the little green papers that are Federal Reserve notes are a form of a promissory note. Regino, Lastrada, and soon to be Bo Ideals LLC promissory notes are structured to wrap virtual currencies, eCash, which is a long history of commercial use and has withstood the test of federal court proceedings wherein the U.S. SEC presented evidence that supported value and use thereof in a bid to have Zcash and chips ruled to be securities. That 6-year litigation terminated with a consent decree and final judgment wherein it was stipulated that neither party prevailed and no guilt was assigned. A Regino note is issued under the signature of an attorney acting as the Secretary Legal Counsel, who is also an officer of the court by virtue of registration in the jurisdiction where the Regino note, the LLC, is incorporated. A Regino note, Lastrada, etc., is also signed by the treasurer, who was also the president of a private bank called Fides Gestion Financiera Sofam ENR SADECV, which bank holds large value on deposit with HSBC Private Banking. $11 billion. A Regino note, Lastrada note, all interchangeable, is immediately collectible by the lawful beneficiary requesting the transfer of Zcash of equal value to an Internet Catalog Club account owned by the lawful beneficiary. A Regino note is also collectible by the lawful beneficiary requesting that Regino provide documentary funds to be used as the basis for professional licensed traders to obtain profits by engaging in transactions involving U.S. Treasuries. The documentary funds to be provided by Regino may be instruments guaranteed payable by Fides, which guarantee is supported by specific values assigned by Fides to a set of documentary funds. Alternatively, the documentary funds to be provided by Regino may be collateralized by deposits made in a bank selected by the lawful beneficiary, which bank must also be acceptable to Regino or Lastrada or Bow Ideals. But irrespective of the legal and financial backing for Regino notes, a particular bank may not wish to engage in business related to the notes because it's not something the bank is currently doing, and it may not wish to undertake this new line of business. However, a member of the Internet Catalog Club that has one or more Regino promissory notes also has a secret weapon, which can be used to make the banker an offer he can't refuse. Or if the banker does refuse, the member will know that the bank itself either has undisclosed reasons apart from the notes to not accept the business, or the banker may not be thinking with sound business logic, in which case the member is encouraged to find another bank or to use business other than banking to collect the note, which we've just reviewed. The secret weapon is that the bank may be offered a 10-year wealth management contract with House Services, Inc. House is a Texas, USA firm that is wholly owned by Texas Holdings, Inc. Through the wealth management contract, the bank will commit to undertake any transaction that is legal, profitable, and without risk that House may present, through which both House and the bank will equally benefit, 50-50. Upon signature of the Wealth Management Group contract by the bank, House will have Texas Holdings, Inc. provide a Regino LLC promissory notes valued at $2 billion or less, as may be negotiated, paid to the bank, and as prepayment for $1 billion USD or less, as may be negotiated, worth of services to be rendered. The overpayment will be returned to House through 50% of the funds collected by the bank using the notes being deposited in the bank into an account owned by House or owned by a House surrogate within the jurisdiction of the bank. The collection of the notes will not diminish profits the bank may obtain through transactions that House may present to be executed as per the contract. In short, the notes are a prepayment for the bank to undertake the contract, and their value is not deducted from income derived through the contract. So we're giving them $2 billion, of which they keep $1 billion. Once a bank has indicated interest, a contract can be prepared by House and presented to the bank. However, USPIS, a Collins County, Texas DBA, has the exclusive right to present such contracts on behalf of House, and USPIS charges $35,000 contract fee payable as shown below in USPIS contract fee payment. To make that payment, a bank must accept a free membership in the Internet Catalog Club and use that membership number to execute payment as indicated. The USPIS contract fee payment, although dwarfed by the benefits offered to the bank, should cause the bank to do thorough due diligence on the use and value of the notes, as well as the on the contract with House before engaging the contract and paying the fee. The 1 billion USD or less, as may be negotiated, prepayment for services should be attractive enough for the bank to apply the time, the effort, and dedicating qualified legal and business professionals associated with the bank to do a proper and thorough analysis of the proposed business. The USPIS contract fee payment will be paid by acquiring and allocating tickets USD as indicated. Excuse me. And for the purpose of total disclosure, the use of the USPIS contract fee is described below. So 5,000 of the 35,000 pays for the retail LHP. 11 grand goes to you. 6 grand comes to me. And this is a limited opportunity. For more information, contact Brightstar, and let's get to work. Fabulous opportunity. And quite frankly, if the banks do not accept this, we have another secret weapon that I will tell you privately should you be interested. All right, so sorry to be 5 minutes over for today, but that's it in a nutshell. Lots of great information. I'll get this webinar up on the website as soon as YouTube has processed it. And I look forward to hearing from you real soon as to how you're going to be a part of your own Jubilee this year. Get your tools ready. Earn your 5,000 through LHP retail and wholesale, and get yourself started, or do like a lot of people have done. Work to deal with another member, come up with the funds together, and it's up to you. It's called negotiate. So great success in all that you're going to do and all that we are doing. God bless us all. Let's make this world a better place. Thank you so much for being with me today.